You're listening to Mature Allure. Here, we chat about self care, relationships, careers, and all the things living a mature life includes. I'm your host, Sherri O. Welcome.
Get out the way. Who got a watch? Who got the time? I'm racing the clock. Even in my feelings, grind don't stop. Got big.
Hi, Monique Pinkney. How are you?
Hi, Sherri. I'm wonderful. How are
Welcome
you?
to. I'm good, thank you. Welcome to Mature Allure. This is great. I'm so happy that you are here. When I heard about you and saw you on Instagram, I was like, "Oh, grown mama, I like that."
Uh,
So tell us a little bit about yourself.
well, I am a wife, a boy mama, and founder of Grown Mama. Grown Mama is just a space where I share my experiences as a mom over 40. And
Ah,
yeah, with hopes to, inspire or encourage others that may be on the same journey or wanting to be on the same journey. So, I mean, being a mom, you can relate to other moms in a lot of ways, but being an older mom, it could be a little different.
yeah, and that's what we're going to talk about, being an older mom.
Yeah.
Um, so before we get into that, tell us about your mom, a wife, a mother. Tell us about your career prior to motherhood.
Okay, so after college, I worked for a local television station, and there I worked in the programming department. So I scheduled commercials, basically, is what I did.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
and then I worked there for about 5 years, and then I moved to a larger network and did pretty much the same thing for about 3 years. And um, I decided that instead of scheduling commercials, I wanted to be in commercials. So I pursued my career as a commercial actress and print model in New York City. And I did that full time for like 10 years until I got married and had my children.
Oh, that's great. That's great.
Yeah.
So tell us about grownmama.com in a little bit more detail.
So I started Grown Mama out of my desire to want to connect with other women that were going down the same path. Most of the moms I was coming across on social media were younger moms, millennial moms, and not that we can't relate, but I was finding myself having other experiences outside of those experiences that the younger moms were having. So
Mhm.
I thought it'd be great to try to connect with other older moms to kind of be like, look, your experience, like there's somebody else that's going through the same things that you're going through, and it's not impossible. But hey, let's connect, share stories, and find ways to kind of like um, uh, get through motherhood, I guess, with some ease.
So, do you mind telling us how old you are?
I'm 49. I'll
Okay.
be 50 in January.
All right. And how old are your children?
My oldest is 5.5, and that's Ryan. And Mason just turned 2 on June 17th.
That's great. See, that's the thing. I mean, so you were then like about 46 when you had your youngest one?
I was 44 when I had Ryan, and 47 when I had Mason.
Yeah, see, and that's the thing. A lot of people, I think it's more popular now than we know. I mean, it's always been happening. Because I
Yeah.
think back in the day, people were calling them menopause babies. Those were
Hmm.
menopause babies, like something happened.
Yeah.
But
Right.
this is intentional. I had my career. I want to move into motherhood. Just explain your thought process on as you were starting to think about motherhood at that age.
Well, for me, I think it was just timing. Like I was never that girl that dreamed of getting married and having children. I felt like, if it was going to happen, it was going to happen. Like, I partied, I traveled, I did it all when I was young. So it really wasn't at the top of my head to be like, well, let me think about motherhood and marriage and that type of thing. And so it wasn't until I found my person that I realized that, I wanted to have a family. He's the only child. I have two siblings, and just that dynamic of having a family, having siblings, was something that I wanted to also have.
So, what have you seen as some of the differences as you're being a mother over 40 versus someone who's younger?
So, what I didn't really take into consideration was just, the normal wear and tear of getting older. Like, I'm starting to see and feel, the age. I feel like I look great for my age, but I'm looking in the mirror and I'm like, yeah, I can see the progression, and
Mm-hmm.
that can be a little scary, but, I'm doing what I need to do to try to, stay in shape. But so I'm aging, and then our parents are aging, and what that
Yeah.
looks like for some is their um, parents moving in with them, or um, us becoming the primary caregivers for them. So we're trying to take care of us, of ourselves, we're taking care of our children, and we're taking care of our parents. So it can
Yeah.
be a lot, it's a lot of layers there that can be, can make things harder.
Yeah, and I mean, have you, with growmama.com, do you have a community there that you actually work with or, let's see, kind of get together and
So
talk about the experiences that you're going through?
that's what I'm working on now. Like motherhood, like, grown mama kind of fell by the wayside because I was busy, but that is my right. That is my goal to, cultivate experiences, have brunches or meetups or whatever, so that I can connect with, people on a larger scale. So yeah, that is my intent to really connect.
So, what advice would you give women who are looking at that biological clock and they're like, oh, I got to do this real quick, or considering, or maybe even say, well, maybe it's too late for me?
So I would say if you're under 40, well, I'll just say in general, like you need to be seeing a reproductive doctor, just making sure everything is in working order, you know? Um, for us, we did go through IVF, but it was a very easy process for us, and it's not always easy for everyone. And it being my age, my doctors were like shocked. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? I know. They know that there are women having children older, but they still are like shocked. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That it happened, and it happened so easily for me. So I definitely would say, you do have to have some type of planning and process. I didn't really plan. It was just my circumstances of finding I had polyps on my uterus, so I had
Mm.
to get those removed. I didn't have any indicators that I had that. It was just me getting tested and finding out. So that could hinder the process of me getting pregnant. So we felt that IVF would be a great way to try to conceive um, sooner than later, because the polyps would come back, and then I had to
Yeah.
go through the whole process or whatever. So definitely, like getting it in your head to kind of playing out the journey and getting checked out, and that thing, which is helpful. Because you don't want to be, you could be trying, you could be trying for years and not knowing what's going on
Yeah,
with you.
exactly.
Yeah. Did I
Well,
answer your question?
yeah,
No, I kind
no,
of went off on a tangent.
no, you really did. You really did. Because it was basically advice that you would give women who are considering motherhood for the first time
Yeah.
in their 40s.
Yeah.
What is the experience like? How do I want to say this? Being an older mom with such young children, what is that experience like? And I'm asking you because I have a neighbor whose daughter is 6 and she's 51 this year. So
Mm-hmm.
she had her daughter at 45, but this was her third child. And
Okay.
it was kind of a surprise.
Yeah.
Surprise!
Yeah.
And she's doing her thing, but she's like, "Girl, I am worn out." So,
That
what is
part.
your experience? What is your experience being an older mom, closer to 50, with such young children?
It is a lot, Sherry. It is a lot. And I mean, I think younger moms will tell you it's a lot, but it's a lot because for us, that bounce back is not the same. You
Yeah.
know, we can't bounce back or
Mm-hmm.
recuperate. Like, I can't hang out and have cocktails the night before and then think I'm gonna sleep in. My child is like, Mommy, at 6 o'clock in the morning, I'm gonna need you
Mm-hmm.
to get up and fix this breakfast, you know? So
Mm-hmm.
it is hard. My kids are very energetic, which is natural. My youngest one, that one, I'm like, he's trying to kill me. I was like, he is trying to kill me. But I feel like, you know, I, even through all of the challenges that I may face with trying to keep up with them, I'm so thankful because really it keeps me on my toes. Like, it's going to keep me in shape. Whereas if I
Mm-hmm.
didn't have kids, I might not be on top of my health as much as I am now. I might not be wanting to work out. So they keep me on my toes. They keep me active. And that's a great thing, especially when you're getting older. I have to build up that
Exactly.
stamina again because, I've not used a lot of muscles for for a while. So I'm appreciative for the energy that they have. But yeah, there are some days I'm just like, I don't know if I'm coming or going.
What about support system?
I have a great support system. My mom is here now.
Good.
So, so she comes twice a week, and we're probably going to be putting my oldest is in school, but I mean they're out of school now. But we'll probably be putting the youngest one in school this
Mm-hmm.
fall or something. But my sister, I'm from the DC area. All of my family's here. My sister, my brother, my aunts, my uncle. So I have a really friends. I mean, I have a great support system if I need
Mm-hmm.
to, if I want to do something, if I need a break or whatever. So I think that's also important. Like, we
Yeah.
lived in the New York area for some time, and I'm, glad that we moved back home because, even though New York is not that far, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I still would have to plan, for someone to come up or for me to come down or whatever. So it's been great. It's been
That,
great.
that's good. So let's talk about your doctors. Um, how were they? Were they supportive? I know you mentioned earlier that you went through IVF and with the polyps and everything, the doctors were like, let's do this sooner rather than later. That's
Hmm.
pretty good.
Yeah.
But how were they with your experience?
I had a wonderful experience with my doctor. So the center I went through was RMA in New Jersey. Highly recommend them. Even after I moved back home, they were still my center. So I was able to still do my procedures there, like my transfers there. Like, I kept
Hmm.
in contact with them. But they were awesome, and they always like, you are a rock star, because like I said, even though they know that it is possible for older women to have children, it is still shocking to them for some. Like, just being my age, like wow, like, girl, you did it, and with ease.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't have to go through several. I didn't have to
Round.
go through several rounds. I did one
Hmm.
round, and yeah, so it was an easy process for us. Thank God. Like, yeah.
Well, can you tell us a little bit about the process itself? Like, if somebody's considering, especially sometimes when you're younger, you think, oh, I'm going to do IVF, and you just do it. But as you get older, you overthink things. You're like, well, is it something I really want to do? Maybe it's expensive. And you may talk yourself out of it. What advice would you give somebody who's thinking about IVF, and what's the process like?
Yeah, so I mean, don't be afraid. If having children is something that you really desire, then you do what's necessary to get them here. Um, and again, like, it's not guaranteed, but I mean, it's still of God. It's still a miracle, like, that it happens. The whole process. So, I'm sorry, did this click out? I'm sorry. So for us, like, so went to OB first, and then she recommended that I go see a reproductive doctor, and then that's when we found the polyps, and then I had to get those removed because they didn't want anything blocking the sperm from getting to my uterus. So had that done. I mean, it happened um, probably over a 3 month span because I had to take hormones and stuff, and that's just to increase your egg reserve. Like,
Hmm.
a lot of women don't know that um, the eggs you have are the same age as you because you're born with all of your eggs.
Oh,
So
okay.
my eggs were 43 years old. I always
Yeah.
say my kids are 43 because they are so grown. But but yeah, so I was 43 when they retrieved my eggs. So once they retrieve your eggs, then they do the process of putting the eggs with the sperm, and then seeing how many fertilize. I had 10 eggs, 9 of them fertilized, and then 5 of them made it to day 5. And day 5 is um, like a good point where the embryos uh, could
Yeah.
last.
Hmm.
So did that, and then I had them tested. So I highly recommend getting your embryos tested. And 2 of them came back what they considered normal, and that's my 2 sons. Because in the testing they can find out if they have too many chromosomes or
Mm.
things like that. And I was able to actually see the other um, the other embryos and what type of chromosomes they had. I had one girl. They were all boys, and I had one girl. So you could actually see, you know,
Wow.
why they wouldn't have probably made it, and why, even not going through that testing, why some babies don't make it. Just going through the process naturally is
Hmm.
because they have some type of birth defect or something like that. Yeah.
Oh,
And then for that, then they just kind of try to time your cycle. I went through like my regular cycle, like they can create an environment to like for your cycle to come on, but because I had such good progress, we just went through my natural cycle, like as if I was just,
yeah.
having intercourse and so, and I got pregnant both times they took, and I had awesome pregnancies. I didn't have any complications. I mean, really blessed. I mean, I
Yeah.
can't you know, I know that it might not be the way for everyone, but
Hmm.
I've recommended several people to my doctor. My friend, she had one baby naturally, but she went through my doctor and she just had another baby through IVF. So,
Hmm.
it's she didn't. It was her second round though. She went through 2 rounds, because the first baby she didn't make it, but I mean it was an embryo. It didn't.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah. So I mean, it can be stressful, but I really just relied on my faith. Like my faith never wavered. And I was like, God, if this is of your will, then it will be done. So I'm
Yeah.
not gonna stress about it.
Well, it sounded like your doctors were really supportive. And
Yeah.
I think, too, they're seeing a lot more of older women coming in wanting to be first time moms.
Hmm.
Because I know when I was going through it 10, 15 years ago, doctors were talking very scary.
Oh
Like,
yeah.
oh, you're over 35, and oh, the
Like
embryo.
that's old. 35.
Oh, yeah, oh, that was it. Like, oh, and over 35, it could be this. And I think, too, there was a lot of ignoring because of your age. Well, it's probably just not going to work out right, or it's just not going to because of the age. But I think doctors are evolving, or at least trying to. And
Yeah.
then I think women are demanding that they do because women are coming in like, this is what I want to do, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
And
You have
I
to
want
advocate for yourself.
you have to, you have to.
Hmm.
So, let me see. Now that you're a mom, and I know, of course, you would do it all over again, but is there anything you would change about the journey?
Um, no, I don't think I would. I honestly think that I was put on this earth to inspire and encourage people and to pour into people. And so I feel like I am, someone that's able to inspire women over 40 that it is possible. The journey
Absolutely.
might not be easy or it might not be traditional, but you can still become a mother,
Mm-hmm.
whether you give birth, whether somebody carries the baby for you, whether you go through or adoption, like you are still someone's mother. It doesn't
Yeah.
like the process is different, but the end result is the same.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. So if somebody wanted to get in touch with you and just even ask questions or find out more about growmama.com, how can they do that? And how can they do that?
They can sign up for my newsletter on Grown Mama, or subscribe, sorry, on Grown Mama. Or they can go to my Instagram or TikTok, which is grown_mama. Or they can email me at monique@grownmama.com.
Oh, great. Well, I'm so happy for you. Congratulations.
Yeah.
It can be a difficult road. For me, I did not, I went through a lot. So it just, I went through a lot with, what do you call that? Ectopic. I had an ectopic.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Crazy. I lost several babies. So it just was like, at some point I was like, you know what? I can't do this. So I applaud you for just saying, hey, this is what I want to do, and I'm going to keep moving forward. And I agree with you when you say, if this is something you really want to do, don't be scared of it and just make it happen.
Yeah. Don't let the doctors would give me the whole spiel about risk and stuff like that. But I was like, okay, that's not my story. I just would, I would listen, but I wasn't receiving it,
Yeah.
because I was like, that's not my story. And I think it's good to have, a positive mindset going into it, because, you want it so bad, you want it to work. And sometimes that stress can, work. I also feel like, I think there was a question you asked about, I guess why, why would you want to become a mom after 40? And I think for some, or
Yeah.
decide to become, I think for some it's, career, lack of partner, health issues that you don't even know that you have. So, it's not always that this is the way we wanted it to be, but just circumstances in life brings you to this point, and you shouldn't feel fearful or judged because you want to become a mom after a certain age. And the fact that they called it geriatric pregnancy, I'm like, it's crazy to me.
It's so funny, but that's what I'm saying. Like, and it's geriatric pregnancy after 35.
After 35.
And it's like, what?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's I think now people are, with technology and like women saying, look, this is what we want to do. You have your career, you've traveled, you've done all those things like you talked about. And I'm ready now to settle down in a good place financially,
Right.
mentally, all of these things. I think the industry is going to have to start evolving. And
Yeah.
it's just pregnancy.
Yeah.
Forget the geriatric.
Right. Like, exactly. Like, come on. Like that would make someone feel like this, not like, a positive person or self-motivating, feel like, well, dang, like maybe I shouldn't do this. Like, it's very discouraging.
It's discouraging and also kind of judgmental.
Yeah.
That geriatric in general for anything. I think even if you're geriatric, you don't want to hear that you're geriatric.
But if you look up the definition of geriatric, you'd be like, that is not me. Like, what are you talking about?
Exactly. Who wants that? Who
Right.
wants that label? So I just, I think it's going to, I think it's on the path of changing, because so
sure.
many women are doing it. And it's a wonderful thing. Congratulations.
Thank you.
And your boys are lucky.
Thank
You
you.
know,
Thank you. They
and
are
blessed. Yeah. And blessed. And thank you so much, Monique. This has been a pleasure. It's been a real pleasure talking to you.
Thanks so much for having me and allowing me to share my story with your audience.
Thanks for listening to this episode of Mature Allure. For more information about us, visit matureallure.net and get social with us on Instagram and YouTube at mature.allure, Facebook at @formatureallure, and Twitter at mature_allure. Till next time, we encourage you to stay positive, embrace who you are at every stage of your life, and always tap into your mature allure.